Welcome back for another episode of the Ross Bolen podcast. I am your host, Ross Bolen, joined by your co-host, Jared Borislow. The people call him J-Bone, and his fiance calls him a filthy little pay pig. Say what's up to the people, Jared.
I want to raise awareness. As many people know, we're in the middle of a historic heat wave here in Austin, Texas.
Historic heat wave.
Extremely hot, and what enough people don't understand is that, yes, it is hot for everyone, and it sucks, but it's worse for one group of people, and that's the sweat boys among us, including me, J-Bone. Ross, want to see something disgusting?
You're saying that this, well, first of all, yes, but you're saying that when it's very, very hot outside, while everyone suffers, that very sweaty people suffer significantly more.
Feast your eyes, Ross.
Yeah, that's not that bad. I've seen you do much worse. I mean, he's got some pit stains underneath his arms. Jared doesn't understand how microphones work, so he thinks you can see his underarm.
They can see me on YouTube.
Oh yeah, the 200 people that watch the episode there.
Well, more people are going to now. Right now, if you go to YouTube
we
and watch
have
it,
full video of all of our episodes on YouTube. Just search the Ross Bolen podcast and say, Jared, those are great pit stains.
It's rough. I honestly, like, I'm not kidding. People are calling me out all the time in Formula Bone clips. They're like, "Hey man, you nervous?" And I always just go, "Podcasting is a sport."
Yeah, see, but I could make the counter argument that sweat boys and girls, first of all, sexist, are actually in a much better spot than the non-sweaters out there. Like, I used to be a non-sweater. Now I'm more of a sweat boy. The older I get, the more apparently my body feels the need to cool down. And it sucks when you don't sweat, dude. And you're out there in the heat, especially the dry heat. You've got nothing going. Your body's just doing nothing to help you. But at the same time, you don't have to deal with the disgusting feeling of being dripping wet and having massive stains on your clothing that indicate to the general public that you're disgusting and stinky.
I mean, I wouldn't care as much if I wasn't on camera for like 2 hours a day. That's more of the annoying part of it.
Well, you're pretty much sweating out like pure fast food, too. That's just
I'm healthy
just
this
sodium.
month.
Oh yeah, you're on a good diet right now. I forgot.
I've lost like 10 pounds already.
Wow.
Wow. Now, I'm the last thing I'm going to say, and I'm not a scientist. Okay.
That's why we haven't talked fast food lately. If you've been wondering, Jared's trying to abstain so he doesn't bring it up as much.
Yes, and that makes me want to eat it when I talk about it. I'm not a scientist. Okay. What I'm about to say is my
you're a pay pig.
I'm a pay pig. I'm a truffle hog. Now, what I'm about to say is not. I have no scientific basis for this. Okay. I firmly believe, though, that my years and years of using clinical strength deodorant to make myself sweat less has made my body over time immune to all the stuff that makes you sweat less, and now nothing works. I put on clinical strength deodorant this morning, antiperspirant, and I'm sweating so much.
So you think this is like antibiotics? If you take them too much, eventually they become ineffective.
I have become immune to antiperspirant, and not only that, it has somehow strengthened my sweating.
Wow. Maybe your body's just becoming more efficient at cycling out the toxins and keeping you cool in this hot heat.
I don't know, man.
Look, man, I'm team don't bitch about the heat. All right, the other side of it is hell on earth. This is what we got to deal with. All right, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's only getting worse though.
Now, here's who I feel bad for. Actually, people that live in areas where air conditioning is not where central air is not like a thing you normally need.
The North.
And like Chicago and shit, when we have heat waves, those people get absolutely railed.
Yeah, my freshman year of college, and your freshman year of college too, I believe, no air conditioning, which I don't know how that makes sense in Texas.
Well,
that sounds
not the dorm that
cruel.
I stayed in, but one of the dorms on the Texas State campus did not have air conditioning, and it was absolutely amazing to me. That
seems like a human rights violation.
Yeah, it is hot as shit though. I won't sit here and lie to you, Jared. It's very, very hot outside this summer.
It's hot inside too.
Yeah,
because we're in here.
That's true.
And shirtless.
I'm going to debut a new segment today. It's called Ed Sheeran, That's Enough.
Is this a recurring segment?
Yeah. I'll do this segment as often as I have to, but
okay.
Hey, Ed Sheeran, man, like that's enough features. Why don't you take a break for a bit? I get it. I see how the music industry works. You crank out a few albums littered with hits, then you tour, make a lot of money on touring, right? And you do features to expand your audience, and you just watch the money roll in. I'm a podcaster, entertainment industry. I understand. I could spend all my spare time guesting on other shows, splattering my face in as many different places as possible. I probably should. But Ed, you're not in that place anymore. You're done.
I'll splatter your face.
You did it. Jared can't help himself. But you're already filthy fucking like how much money do you need? How many different genres must you break through to? You did an Eminem song about that river or whatever in 2017. That was 5 years ago, man. You're still doing it. You did another Eminem song in 2020. Dude, stop doing Eminem songs. That's just too much. Too much whiteness in one. Eminem and Ed Sheeran, one track? What even is that? It's like oil and vinegar or whatever. We don't need that. It's disgusting. Please give us some solace. Leave us in peace. No more features for a while. Just focus on your own music. You featured on Game of Thrones. Dude, you couldn't even leave us that. Also, Eminem, what the fuck, man? What are you doing? Stop calling Ed Sheeran. Why are all these artists like, you know what I need? A song featuring Ed Sheeran. And now, you know what? I'll tell you, Jared. It's because you hit the ginger demographic. You hit the European demographic. You hit the middle-aged whites, right? It's almost like if hip-hop artists could get Michael Bublé on the hook, they would, but they can't. So they get Ed Sheeran to access an even wider demographic of whites. No more Ed Sheeran. Please. I don't want to fight Ed. I don't even have anything against Ed, frankly. I'm trying to handle this peacefully and ask nicely. Please, like, you know how everybody says, like, keep doing what you're doing? Stop doing what you're doing, Ed Sheeran. Stop.
Okay, I want to make sure you're clear on this. My brother and I found this out a couple years ago, and I checked to make sure if it was still true, and it is. Do you know that Ed Sheeran is the #1 most streamed artist on Spotify?
Do you know why? Because he's on 50% of the songs on Spotify. He can't, dude, it's insane. This is what inspired this segment. I was on Spotify, I hit shuffle, and it was like every 6 songs. Either it was an Ed Sheeran song, or it was a song featuring Ed Sheeran, and that's on my Spotify. I'm not even an Ed Sheeran guy. Like I said, nothing against him. Great pipes, whatever. Funny ass story about him hanging out with the royal family and getting like hit by a sword or whatever. Google it if you want. I don't have time to tell it. But it's too, he's oversaturating his own brand. I wish he would stop, which is what I'm asking him. On the other hand, 21 Savage should be featured on every single album released in every genre. As my dear friend Barrett Dudley put in our group text the other day, perhaps the most fundamentally underrated rapper of his generation. And as I'm putting it now, one of the best features in the history of hip-hop. Just an absolutely hysterical individual. Micah reading the lyrics from his feature on Drake's latest album, perfect example. Still the worst live performance I've ever seen. 21. But he should be featured on every major album release across every genre. Pussy. Today's episode is brought to you by Felix Gray Glasses. 5 years ago, Felix Gray set out to create eyewear that would improve daily screen time, and since then, they've been on a mission to create a better relationship with technology. Felix Gray filters out 15 times more blue light that can make screen time tough on eyes and disruptive to sleep. Jared and I are on the screens all day, every day, man.
My eyes are burning right now.
Yeah, it's the computers, it's the phones, it's the other computers, it's the TVs, it's nonstop. When I get off work, I like to relax by watching my favorite shows and movies and gaming. All of those things involve more screens. So a few years ago when I was introduced to Felix Gray, everything changed. These glasses are the quality of designer frames. It's not some cheap blue light coating painted over them that's going to chip off. That doesn't happen. No chipping, no cheapness, just incredible quality designer frames that are stylish and functional as they protect your eyes from all the blue light that the screens we rely upon emit. Hard to cut back on the screen time. Really, really difficult in 2022. And if you're like me, by the end of the day, your eyes are worn out. Felix Gray will help you get relief from those headaches, dry eyes, blurry vision, and what have you that occurs over the course of your workday. I've got like 6 pairs. My favorite frames for y'all to check out from Felix Gray are the Faraday, the Nash, and the West. You can use our URL, felixgrayglasses.com/RBP to support the show and get free shipping, free returns, and free exchanges. They've got non-prescription and prescription available. Check them out now, felixgrayglasses.com/RBP. Bone?
I'm a Kepler guy in terms of frames.
You like the Keplers.
I got the sunglasses, and I got the non-prescription blue light glasses. Love them.
Love them. Great sunglasses as well, like you said. FELIXGRAY glasses.com/RBP. Free shipping, free returns, free exchanges. That's felixgrayglasses.com/RBP to support the podcast and protect your host. Jared, did you see the James Webb telescope images, speaking of eyesight and seeing things
I
on
think
screens? Because obviously you didn't hold them in person. Nobody handed you the pictures, did they?
No, they didn't. I've either seen them or I've seen Windows desktop backgrounds that look like them.
Sure.
Not sure.
Well, maybe not quite like them. I mean, look, I admittedly, one of the more spectacular images I have ever seen in terms of just the variation of colors, which is something we'll get to in a second. But first, let me give a little bit of general information for the audience, and then we'll discuss a bit. From NBC News, the first image from NASA's James Webb Space Telescope offered humanity a stunning new view of the universe on Monday, a first-of-its-kind infrared image so distant in the cosmos that it shows stars and galaxies as they appeared 13 billion years ago.
So a lot of things we're looking at in these pictures could already be exploded.
So that's one of the things about it that I think like people are like, and I'm out. You know what I mean? It's like, 13 billion
You're looking
years
into the past.
Well, and not only that, it's just really difficult for the human mind to wrap your head around that is hard. That's a challenge, right? I can't really make sense of that in my brain. Now, I obviously have heard the explanation, read even further, but it's just one of those things that's really difficult for me to grasp in terms of understanding. But that's one of the cool things about the image, too, is that it does give us somewhat more of a scale in terms of how small we are in the universe. Let me read a little bit further. President Joe Biden revealed the new image Monday. They let Joe do this. That's sweet of them. He needed a win. At the White House alongside Vice President Kamala Harris, who they let out of whatever room they lock her in normally, and NASA officials. We're going to start calling it that.
NASA?
NASA.
That sounds like what Zonder from Real Bros of Simi Valley would call it.
NASA.
NASA.
Dubbed Webb's first deep field, it is it's the first full-color image from the $10 billion observatory that launched into space last year, the highest resolution infrared view of the universe yet captured. Against the blackness of space, Webb's first deep field shows a kaleidoscope of galaxies, some appearing as luminous points while others look bent and streaky, warped by gravity on their long journey to Earth. In layman's terms, the shit is so far away that in the photo it literally bends, right? So the ones that look like they're like boomeranging almost, that shit's...
The light is... the gravity is making the light beams go downwards? Or something.
Hashtag science.
Man,
Jared.
dude, Pablo Picasso knew all this.
Yeah?
That's why everything's bent.
Was that Picasso?
No, it was Salvador Dali.
Dali. There you go.
His,
Good save for us
thank
and
you.
Jared.
Well,
Both of us.
His museum was about 10 minutes from my high school, so I probably should have known that.
Salvador Dali.
Shaped like an egg.
Pretty sure Jay-Z's got one of his paintings in his bathroom, and I'm not joking.
Some of Dali's most famous themes are ants, eggs, bendy clocks.
Bendy clocks. It's one everybody knows.
Yep. The time's bending.
Melty, bendy clock. Anyway, the photo, it says it offers humanity a fresh perspective on the mind-bending scale of the universe. Quote, if you held a grain of sand on the tip of your finger at arm's length, that is the part of the universe that you're seeing in this photo, said NASA Administrator Bill Nelson. Just one little speck of the universe. The image shows the galaxy cluster SMACS SMACS, and it does, 0723 as it appeared 4.6 billion years ago, according to NASA. Now, there is some bad news. The colors in the image are synthetic. Telescopes record images in black and white through colored filters. So this is just like the goddamn dinosaurs, Jared. Like
maybe the galaxies have feathers.
Exactly. How are we to know that those galaxies aren't actually feathered? And just like in the Jurassic Park movies, how do we know that they're not all pink or purple like Barney? These are the questions I have for NASA to answer next time around. But, yeah, it's like the first time in school you learn when they explain like the universe to you and galaxies. And this is something that has obviously progressed a lot in the, 25 years since I learned it, right? But it's one of those things where you're like, holy fucking, what? That's, again, too big of a concept for you to really be able to wrap your head around, especially in middle school, which is the first time that most of us were presented with some version of the information that I'm talking about regarding the size of the universe. But to have a photo that sort of represents, like, they can give you a scale. Like, if you held a grain of sand, one tiny grain of sand on the tip of your finger at arm's length, now look at this photo, and that's what you're looking at in terms of the size of the universe. And within that photo, they're telling you these are all different galaxies, some of which represent like other galaxies within galaxies.
thinking about how big the universe is just fucked. Like, it makes you really get out of your own head and are like, wow.
See,
the Earth itself is a very inconsequential, almost like not even there part of the entire universe.
That's
and we
one
are
way,
a small part of that even.
That's one way a lot of people look at it. It's wow, we're so insignificant, right? We don't matter at all. As I put it after I looked at those pictures yesterday, I spent a little bit less time picking out my outfit, right? Like, what the fuck does it matter what clothes I wear? Look at this.
Yeah, but
look at this goddamn photo. Look how big we are compared to everything else. But then the flip side of that, in the way that I look at it, is like, slipping my mind.
Well, I think what you were thinking is...
Tell me.
Because here's what I was thinking. Maybe we have the same thought.
Mm-hmm.
It's that nobody actually thinks of significance in terms of the size of the universe. We think about it in terms of what things mean to us individually. I don't go, oh man, look, wow, that thing over there, and the universe is massive, so who cares? It's like, well, it matters to me.
Well, it's almost, and it's beautiful in the other way that it's like, think about the bullshit that we give weight to. Think about the things that we allow to bog us down, bother us, frustrate us on a daily basis. For example, me, Ed Sheeran. Who the fuck cares how many songs Ed Sheeran features on? Who cares how many times Elon Musk appears in the headlines? You don't have to pay attention to any of this stuff.
Disagree. I think the people you just mentioned, Elon Musk and Ed Sheeran, both actually matter in universal grand scales.
In the grand scheme of the universe, they do. Okay,
guarantee you, we're going to find out that the aliens are banging Castle on the Hill while driving Cybertrucks.
Sure. Okay, fair enough. But I'm just saying, the annoyances, the small annoyances of everyday life. When you see a picture like this, it makes it a little easier to let that shit like slide off your back, right? Like that's the positive side of this to me. Is it's
what's
like
sliding off your back.
You know what's sliding off my back, and it's just the horsey saddle that you put on me when you ride me.
Oh yeah.
It slides off because of the KY jelly and the universe in its scale. That it's this thing of beauty to like admire, right? Like that's the part. We're one of the few beings, or the only beings that we're aware of currently, or that I'm aware of, that have the capacity to really appreciate that. Even the dolphins who fuck for pleasure, they don't have a telescope down there, bro.
Maybe that's what they're blowholes for. Maybe it's actually a third eye.
Access to the universe. But you know what I'm saying? Like, they can't see this. They don't get it. They're not down there in science class, you know, as far as I know, gathered around some Professor Dolphin babbling on about the scope of the universe.
What if humans had a blowhole? Where would it be?
You do have one, and you used it right before we started recording.
It's fair. But if we had one that was connected to our respiratory system, would it be in the front or the back?
Jared, we have more blowholes than any animal I'm aware of. I can blow 2 holes on my nose. I've got one I can blow out of my ass. I've got things I can blow out of my dick. Hell, probably things you can blow out of your ear if you really tried hard enough. Like if you held both nostrils, maybe covered your eyes, and tried to blow your nose.
You think that if you held both nostrils and blew
shut
out,
your mouth,
then it would come out your eyes first. So you have to close your eyes and then it would come out your ears.
I mean, the mouth is the ultimate blowhole. You blow things every day with that.
It's not. You're not lying. I can blow right now. I'll blow into my liquid IV water bottle that I have here.
Wow. I'm not doing the ad read yet, though. Oh. It's a good try. Back to your blowhole. No, this is unbelievable. Color added or not, it's really cool to get to see stuff like this. It does kind of make me feel like if I was an astronaut who spent my entire life dedicating myself to science so that I could get up into outer space, so that I could get a view of the cosmos and the Earth, this would bum me out a bit. Just because it's like, I don't know, you didn't need to do all that. I got to see this, and I haven't done shit to prepare for space. Right?
Do you think they should keep it secret so only the astronauts get to see it?
No, they shouldn't let the astronauts see it so that they don't feel bad about all the hard work they did in the first place. Because they can't go out there that far.
Do kids still want to be astronauts? What I saw online was that what most kids want to be these days is a YouTuber or an influencer.
Fuck, that sucks. But it also makes you and I heroes to millions of children, which is actually pretty dope. Good for the kids. Why the hell is Elon spending any time trying to go to Mars, though? Who cares about Mars, man? Look at this.
Well,
try to go further, guy. Find a wormhole to get yourself sucked into. Do some Matthew McConaughey shit. What the fuck is it? It just seems like not big enough now.
Well, you can't go to Jupiter because you get more stupider.
Can't go to Uranus because it's gaseous.
Now, you can go to my anus. Wait, your anus.
Anyway, I just don't know if the Mars thing seems not big enough now for me in terms of Elon's master goal. If that's his master goal, he needs to expand it a little more, I think. Look at the universe, bro. Look at the size of this thing.
Did he say he's going to go?
He wants to colonize it.
But no, is he going to go?
You're asking right now if he wants to colonize Mars but not be a part of it? Like he just wants to send others there but not go himself? Be like, yo,
Yes.
Y'all are going. Tell me in a year I'll check in. If it's cool, then I'll come out. I think he wants to go. Pretty sure. Did you know he made a joke on Twitter the other day about Earth having a population crisis and that he's trying to do his part? He has like 7 kids at this point.
I think that tweet, that's an old tweet, I believe, that people resurfaced after it found out he had
More kids.
Secret kids.
Oh, yeah, secret kids. Well, what I didn't see was that the host of Wild 'N Out, Nick Cannon, famous for his role in Drumline, replied to that tweet. And
Was he saying, I agree, because he has like
he was
16
like, me
kids?
too, bro.
He has like 16 kids, right?
Yeah, he's got lots of children too. So Elon Musk had to get him in today. Now I'll do the ad read, Jared. Today's episode is brought to you by Liquid IV, which Jared is drinking right now, as am I. Both of us to stay hydrated in the hot heat that Jared brought up at the beginning of the show. Hot summer months are here. Got to stay proactive about keeping our bodies fueled and hydrated. Making hydration a priority can help us feel healthier in our everyday lives. You ever gotten to the end of the day and realized, like, oh shit, I almost completely forgot to drink water today. No wonder I feel like ass, and your pee is bright yellow. You don't want that. That's why we love Liquid IV. It makes it simple. 1 stick of Liquid IV and 16 ounces of water hydrates you 2 times faster and more efficiently than water alone. Plus, they've got 10 refreshing flavors like Concord Grape, which I love right now, Lemon Lime, Pina Colada, Tropical Punch. All of them are awesome.
Tropical Punch is new, and it punches you right in the taste buds.
Oh,
in a good
yeah.
way.
Contains 5 essential vitamins, B3, B5, B6, B12,
You
and
sunk my
vitamin C.
battleship.
3 times the electrolytes of traditional sports drinks, made with premium ingredients, non-GMO, free from gluten, dairy, and soy. It's amazing. Uses cellular transport technology designed to enhance rapid absorption of water and other key ingredients into the bloodstream. Liquid IV is also on a mission to change the world. They've donated over 20 million servings globally. Grab Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or you can get 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code ROSS at checkout. That's 25% off anything you order when you use promo code ROSS, R-O-S-S, at liquidiv.com. Experience better hydration today at liquidiv.com, promo code ROSS.
I'm about to do a live on-air reaction to me drinking Liquid IV. Ready?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, tastes so good.
Mine was more normal. All right, now for some insane headlines of the day to continue our current event coverage, bringing you only the most important stories from around the world. Here's your first headline. Albuquerque to unveil statues of Breaking Bad's Walter White and Jesse Pinkman. By the way, if you were a pro, you'd leave that top off. That squeaking, hellacious noise you just unleashed on us and our audience. That's why my top's off. You see this?
Top?
It's called being a professional. Officials at New Mexico City of Albuquerque are planning to unveil bronze statues honoring the 2 main characters of Breaking. Jared, take the top off, for Christ's sake. What's wrong with you? Thank you. Jesse Pinkman and Walter White statue in Albuquerque, real thing that's happening. And if you didn't watch Breaking Bad and you don't know what I'm talking about, they were the 2 main characters, and it's weird that you don't know that. They were commissioned in 2019. That's 3 years ago, by the way. I'm not sure why it took so long, but they were commissioned by the show's creator, Vince Gilligan, which makes this kind of funny to me. He did it as a way to, quote, give something back to Albuquerque, according to a news release from the city's government. And this is ridiculous. First of all, it feels like a slippery slope, Jared. They sold meth. These are methamphetamine cooks and drug dealers and murderers. They're also fictional characters. How many more statues of white people with fictional backstories do we really need to erect in America? So aside from the fact that this dude who made the show commissioned the statues, and it's a slippery slope for the reason that they're characters that were not of high moral standing and lawful behavior. Now, can any old showrunner just go commission a fucking statue for a character in the city that the show was based in?
No, it's got to be in a shitty city that is like doesn't care.
You're dumping on Albuquerque?
I played golf with a guy who was from Albuquerque.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, like I've been to Albuquerque one time, but I was too young to really remember it. I was like, is Albuquerque as shitty as like they say? He's like, oh yeah. Like that's why I left. It's like literally
feels pretty desert.
It's just like a dump.
Right. I've only been to New Mexico once, and it was to visit a friend in college. And I don't really remember.
Did you take a wrong turn in Albuquerque?
Albuquerque?
It's Bugs Bunny.
Yeah. but that's what's up, Doc. They're erecting statue of Walter White and Jesse Pinkman in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Meth season.
Which is
Coke season.
Really
Meth
telling.
season.
It's just an interesting message to deliver to the kids. That's all I'm saying. All right? Got kids now. Got to think about it. Weird message. Who's that, Daddy? Oh, that's Walter White. He sold methamphetamine to the entire community here on the show Breaking Bad with his friend Jesse, who's standing next to him.
Wait, Daddy, isn't that the fucking loser from Westworld?
Yes, son. Yes, son, that's Aaron Paul. That's Aaron Paul. He hasn't done anything good since. Everything he's touched has turned to shit. Need for Speed? The fuck were you thinking? All right,
Dad, I've got a need for weed. Let's go hit that fucking joint you got in the glove compartment.
Come on. Not with the children. Here's your next headline.
Smoke some fucking bones.
This is mid, Dad.
Dad, will you buy this fucking swag from you, loser?
Get out, bitch. I'm driving. Now my kid's Mickey Mouse or Towley. Why does every voice I do have to go there now? I don't understand. Anyway, next headline. Okay, this is a lot to digest. Prepare your brain. A noodler has been arrested on a murder complaint after he confessed to killing another fisherman for trying to feed him to Bigfoot along a river in southeast Oklahoma.
There's too many details for this to not be true.
What the fuck? I have to read the whole thing. It's from the Oklahoman. It reads like something out of The Onion. It is not. It's from a legitimate news source, a real reporting paper in Oklahoma. This is also just what kind of generally goes on in Oklahoma if you wanted a window. A noodler has been arrested on a murder complaint after he confessed to killing another fisherman for trying to feed him to Bigfoot along a river in southeast Oklahoma. Larry Doyle Sanders, 53, of Atwood, drew a map and provided directions that helped searchers find the body of Jimmy Glenn Knighton in a wooded area Sunday, the agent reported in an arrest affidavit. The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation special agent interviewed Sanders on Sunday at the Pontotoc County Jail. Sanders and Knighton left Saturday morning or afternoon for the South Canadian River to go noodling, a type of fishing done by hand.
Yeah. You stick your arm down in a freaking hole,
and you pull the fish
and
out.
a catfish latches onto your forearm, and you yank it out by its mouth.
Damn, that's some Oklahoma shit right there, bro. You are the bait?
Yes.
Fuck it. You just use yourself, huh?
You're the bait and the fisherman.
Sanders was arrested on an outstanding warrant Saturday when he came back to Knighton's residence alone and told his daughter about the killing, according to the affidavit. That is one way to get caught. Just come back and immediately start telling people that you've done murder.
That would be it, yeah.
Yeah. In the interview Sunday, he claimed he discovered while at the river that Knighton, quote, intended to feed him to Sasquatch / Bigfoot, end quote. Special Agent Justin Brown wrote. So the agent wrote, Larry advised he believed Jimmy was trying to get away from him so that the Sasquatch could eat Larry. Larry would not let Jimmy get away. Larry punched Jimmy and struck Jimmy with a stick. Larry and Jimmy fought for an extended amount of time on the ground. Larry confirmed he killed Jimmy by choking him to death near the river. So this is like a full-blown, I don't know if you've seen Lord of the Rings 2, but when Gollum, pre-Gollum, when he's still a regular hobbit, and his boy discover the ring, and he ends up choking him to death, that's the exact scene here between Jimmy and Larry. The suspect's daughter also said he told her he killed Knighton for trying to feed him to Bigfoot, according to the affidavit. She said he was frantic and mentioned something about strangling Knighton, quote, and possibly firing 2 shots from a pistol. The suspect's daughter is the girlfriend of the victim's son, according to the affidavit. The victim's son said Sanders admitting to getting into a fight over being fed to Bigfoot. The Pawtucket County deputy sheriff who arrested Sanders on the outstanding warrant Saturday reported he seemed to be under the influence of illegal drugs, which they probably should lead with in this case.
Yeah.
You know, because he's babbling about this dude attempting to feed him to Bigfoot.
That's what they did. They didn't lead with that because they wanted us to think there actually might have been a Bigfoot sighting.
And here's where it gets even more interesting. He had outstanding warrants over unpaid fines in 2 drug-related cases. He was put on probation for 5 years in 2019 after he was caught bringing methamphetamine into the Pontotoc County Jail after a public intoxication arrest. So, okay, he's arrested for PI, and then he brings meth into the jail.
Yeah, you gotta get your fix. Like if you're behind bars, even.
He was 53. So again, Walter White, Jesse Pinkman, thanks a lot. But yeah, so the great thing about this article is that it then says this. Bigfoot is a mythical creature most commonly associated with the woods of northwestern United States and western Canada. In Oklahoma, a state legislator unsuccessfully tried last year to establish a Bigfoot hunting season. Representative Justin Humphrey said last year, quote, I have some people that I know that are good, solid people who I will guarantee you 100% have said they had experience with Bigfoot. We are not promoting killing Bigfoot. We are promoting hunting Bigfoot, trying to find evidence of Bigfoot, end quote.
Well, I wish that it had gone through. Sounds like that going through sounds like the easiest way to like get out of a murder conviction ever. Oh, I thought he was Bigfoot. He looked like Bigfoot. He's got hair, and so I shot him.
Yep.
And
it wasn't.
I have my license. I have my Bigfoot hunting license.
Oh my God! It was my boy Larry. Whoops. Trying to feed him to Bigfoot. The thing is, they don't even mention what drug he was on, and like I always want to know when it's some insane shit like this. Like having done a lot of drugs back in the day, I never did any that made me think my boy was going to feed me to Bigfoot. So I'm curious which drugs those are, right? I know it's not heroin, which is one of the ones I didn't do, because that should just put you to sleep. Again, I watched Breaking Bad. Jesse Pinkman does heroin. Role model. Need a statue. Put it up. But speaking of which, we got any statues of Bigfoot? Surely.
Definitely.
Right?
A lot of them, for sure.
I would hope so. Yeah. Well, anyway. Speaking of sounds, Jared, I've got an interesting one for you. Sent to us by a listener to serve as the theme music for a segment that we do, recurring, that's never had its own theme music. Hit it.
Welcome. Discovery's 4 computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Nice to be in orbit.
Discovery Houston, press, ATO.
1,
Discovery, go and throttle up.
2,
It's one
3,
small step for man,
4.
one giant leap for mankind.
Talking with Jared.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
I don't have to do it anymore with my mouth.
Nope.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Thank you, listener.
Thank you. Yeah. What was this dude's name?
I forgot already.
I've got my phone. I can look it up while you talk about
Okay.
today's documentary. We're back. Welcome back, though, to Docking with Jared. We've got its own theme music now,
So if you
Jared.
don't know, Docking with Jared is not what you might think. It's where I talk about documentaries, as everybody knows.
Keegan. Thank you, Keegan.
Thank you, Keegan.
For the Docking with Jared theme music. It's ridiculous.
As everybody knows, I prefer a nice documentary. Don't watch a lot of movies. Don't watch a lot of TV.
Weird pop culture consumer you are.
Yeah, just really prefer a nice documentary. And there's a very nice documentary on HBO Max right now. It's actually a docu-series that we are, in, I believe, around the middle of, or like, there's still episodes left. Okay?
Okay. What's it called?
It's called Mind Over Murder, and it's very interesting.
Oh, I've passed this on the HBO app.
Well, you should have stopped, because like I said.
Is it new? though?
Yeah, it's 4 weeks in.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
So it's funny that the last story, I didn't know the last story was going to be about Oklahoma, because the documentary takes place in the small town of Beatrice, Oklahoma, known apparently as the site of America's first homestead. I don't know what that means. It's just that's how they like do the tourism in their town around. It's painted on the side of a shitty building.
I probably made it up to make money.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. But the documentary, like I said, it's a docu-series. There's 4 episodes out right now.
6 total, looks
I
like.
think it releases on Mondays or Tuesdays, one of the two. I watched the 4th episode last night. So, it is about the Beatrice 6. By the way, the town is called Beatrice.
It's not Beatrice?
It's spelled Beatrice, but they all pronounce it Beatrice. Yeah, which is a common thing to do in the Midwest. In a funny kind of thing about the Midwest, in Missouri, there's a town called, it's spelled AUX space VASSE. I believe it's French influence,
Okay, yeah.
but they call it Auxvassi instead of like Avas.
Ah.
And my favorite thing about Missouri is there's a town called Mexico, Missouri. And if you're from there, you're called a Mexicoan,
Mexico.
not a Mexican.
All right.
Mexicoan. So anyways, it's about the town of Beatrice, the Beatrice 6.
Knowledge is power.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's about, the Beatrice 6 was this crazy murder case in like the 70s or 80s. I think the 80s.
It's like they were convicted in 89.
Yeah, okay. So
1985 was the crime.
mid 80s, and 6 different people got arrested as being part of this murder of this old woman named Helen Wilson in her apartment in downtown Beatrice.
Like a horrifying crime, yeah.
Horrifying, a rape, crazy, like 6 different people. And this is a small town. Imagine 6 people in your small town
Right.
get arrested for one murder. Like, holy shit. That's crazy, right?
What age were the people?
They were all early 20s.
Okay.
Early
So
to late 20s.
relatively young.
Yeah. Maybe somebody in the early 30s, but yeah. So it's this crazy snowball effect, right? Where these 2 guys get arrested for a totally different crime, and then one of them is like, ooh, maybe I can shorten my sentence if I
Start talking.
and then it snowballs and snowballs, and then it gets to the point where at the end, after the 6 people have been convicted, you're like, wait, did any of them even do it? Were any of them even there?
Right, where it looks like it could just be people ratting for the sake of trying to get their own sentences reduced.
Yes.
How much of this ended up
And
actually being
potentially-
true or provable or, yeah.
And potentially not even a single one of them was there, potentially.
Yeah. So obviously there are instances of things like this occurring in our country, but this is just one where it's outrageous, especially because of the number of people
6.
who went down for it. That is essentially what I know, what you just said, the gist of it, right? But I haven't watched the trailer or anything yet, and now I'm definitely interested. Okay, I'll ask you this, though. This is the thing I like to ask people about docuseries. In this case, do you feel it was worthy of a docuseries? Was it necessary? Or could this have been a 2-hour documentary that I only needed to use one evening on?
Great question. As somebody who loves a nice documentary, I am totally fine with docuseries.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean. Sometimes they do it, and you're like, okay, you could have made this 3 episodes shorter, and you did 6, and it just took forever.
If you're a big documentary fan like me, I think the pacing is fine. Maybe somewhere in episode 2, you might go, this is a little bit slow moving. But if you ever have that thought watching a docuseries, that's the only reason it's slow moving is because they are setting up for some big reveal. Okay? If you're ever like, oh man, this is either it's a really shitty documentary, but if
Or
you're
it's
watching
for
it,
a
you
big
probably
reveal, yeah.
know the reviews already and you know people think it's good. If it's got good reviews, then know that all that reason they're giving you all this extra detail is to set up for a big reveal. Usually the big reveal comes at the end of that episode, gets you hyped for the next one. So my fiance was like, this is kind of slow halfway through episode 2, and I was like, come on. You know what's up. And then it got good.
You know it's coming.
Yeah, and then I thought it was good the whole time. Then she was back in on it.
Well, plus one of the great things about a good documentary to me is that I oftentimes will know the general gist of a story, but none of the nitty-gritty details. That's why I love like the ones that do get into the granular stuff. Those end up being my favorite, as long as the word you used earlier was very important. As long as the pacing is correct.
And what I love about this, what they've been doing so far, is that they're doing a great job at presenting both sides of the argument. They do a good job of giving you all the reasons why they might have done it and all the reasons why they might not have done it.
I'll tell you,
it's good. It's very. I recommend.
This true crime era that we're in, where true crime podcasts and documentaries and films inspired by true crime are all the rave, has started to make me a little bit paranoid that one day I could be falsely accused of something and tossed in the can. Because it just seems like it happens pretty fucking frequently.
Okay, let's make a deal. If one of us gets murdered, the other one will make a
We'll
true
do the
crime
documentary.
podcast,
Or at least a pod.
we'll do a true crime podcast.
Podcast at the very least. Hopefully the podcast is successful enough to be turned into a documentary.
Exactly. You got to do podcast first. Minimum 10 episodes.
Minimum 10 episodes.
Commit
that's-
right now?
That's a commitment, yeah.
Okay.
All right. If you get locked up for something I know you didn't do. If you did it, if I know you did it, I'm out.
I was saying one of us is murdered, but yeah, murdered or in jail for murder.
or falsely imprisoned though, because if I end up
Or
part
correctly
of,
imprisoned.
the
Or
Austin 12 or whatever.
Correctly in prison too.
Well, okay, yeah, sure. I'll still do the podcast.
And unless it should have been manslaughter.
It just
right?
depends.
And you got murder.
I'm saying if you get falsely imprisoned, I'm 100% in for a podcast.
Okay,
on
cool.
it. That's all I'm promising though. Mind Over Murder sounds interesting, though. This is definitely one I'll look into. And as I've said 100 times at this point, HBO usually doesn't miss. Mm-hmm. Especially with their documentary purchases. I'm yet to watch one on there that I was like, God, I wish I hadn't seen that.
They do a great job.
I do hope they refuse the temptation to turn out Mind Over Matters Season 1 of the drama version of this TV show that was a docuseries.
Oh, yes.
Like, I watched The Staircase on HBO, and then a year later, The fucking Staircase is on HBO, except it's a TV show. What the hell?
Yeah, it's the worst
Let's not do that.
possible shit in the world. I hate that shit. They need to stop doing that. A documentary is the best way to watch it. Although I will say that girl from Plainview or Plainville, whatever keeps popping up like after episodes show up, and that's a Michelle Carter one, which
Yeah.
I Love You Now Die or whatever is that really good documentary on HBO about the girl
The suicide thing.
Yeah,
See, and I
texted-
didn't watch that documentary because I don't want to. So that's an example of where I might turn to this instead. You've uncovered an interesting piece of this. If there's a documentary about something that's so heinous or just so sick, which it's usually weird veins. Like I'll give you an example. I didn't watch the R. Kelly thing. I can't do it, man. I just can't. I can't. That's too twisted and weird to me. I can't. There's certain things I just don't want to get into. The suicide girlfriend thing, where she talked him into it or whatever. I'm not watching that documentary. Fuck that. But I might watch the TV show because I would like to know the story. I just don't want to see the real people. It's too hard. It's too heavy, right? So maybe in that instance it makes sense, but we don't need to do it with every single one. Certainly not the goddamn staircase. Where the one reason I'm tempted to watch it is because I'm like, okay, what did they even do to make it interesting? Like, we know what happens.
I heard The Staircase is played by Billy Crystal.
Again, we watched the thing already. Billy Crystal would be a great cast job, though, for The Stairs. Like the third step.
Hey, what are you doing? You shouldn't be falling down me. You should be walking up me.
Jared, you said it's hot as shit outside. That's why I'm wearing my bird dogs today. And coincidentally, today's episode of RBP is brought to you by Bird Dogs. They've completely changed the game. Bird Dog shorts, pants, and joggers are made from the finest high-quality materials and come with built-in liner that cradles your stovepipe for all-day comfort.
What's your stovepipe?
It's your penis, Jared. Who the fuck likes being uncomfortable? It's time to upgrade to the shorts and pants of the future. Your balls will thank you. Bird dogs are phenomenal. I love them for working out, but I also love them for sleeping. I also love them for podcasting. And seriously, their joggers and pants are very good looking. You could get away with wearing them to work if you wanted to, probably, depending on your work situation. They're so comfortable, and that built-in liner, not only does it save you the trouble of having to pick out a pair of underwear in the morning, it saves you some laundry, too. And like I said, summertime, hot as hell. Do yourself a favor. Go to birddogs.com, enter promo code Ross, and guess what? They'll throw in a Bird Dogs tumbler for you to store your ice-cold water in, hopefully that you mix in one of our other sponsors with. It's a tumbler. Birddogs.com, code Ross, boom, free Bird Dogs tumbler with your pair of Bird Dogs. You will not take these things off, I promise you. They're phenomenal. Birddogs.com, code ROSS at checkout, and just like that, you'll get your free Bird Dogs tumbler with your order. Go check out their new designs. They're always putting out new great stuff. I'll put up a picture of the pair I'm wearing on social media, on my Instagram story or whatever for y'all to see. But they're great. Birddogs.com, code Ross. So I was in an Uber yesterday. I've brought this up before. All right, I ride share a lot. It's a situation that will be remedied very soon. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm actually in the process of
getting a recumbent bicycle to go 20 miles in on a daily basis.
Yeah,
You're
across
gonna look so
Mopac.
swaggy.
I'm going to go down the highway in my recumbent bicycle. No, I'm getting the hell out. I'm moving south. I'm reconfiguring my entire homestead setup. Wife's selling her house, moving to South Austin, so I'm not going across the city every day and not having to ride share every day. But yesterday I'm in a Lyft, and the dude and we have a great conversation. It really was a great conversation. This dude was awesome. It was oftentimes I've found that ride-sharing drivers are really, really interesting and really kind people, which is something that I'll always remember about the pandemic as like a positive side of it, right? But that being said, I should absolutely get a discounted rate in certain circumstances for being an entertaining person. Like for being an entertaining and nice person, I should get a discount. Like if I'm in an Uber or at the dentist or with my therapist, for example, like surely I don't deserve to pay the same amount as normal, boring people, right? I'm such a more pleasant experience. Like literally a professional conversationalist. Jared, you've been out and about with the other humans. You're aware how terrible some of these people are. They're absolutely insufferable. Awful. You're telling me I have to pay the same rate as that fucker? What? That ride for 30 minutes, this person made you miserable. Miserable for a half hour while you drove them. Then you pick my ass up. And for 30 minutes, I made your day. And I got to pay the same amount? That makes no sense. Why? How? How did this become a thing? Do you know how many times I've made my therapist crack? Both ways, too. Laughing and crying. She's getting the book before it's even written. Multiple books, probably. At the dentist, not only do I keep my teeth fairly clean, and I quit tobacco products entirely, and I have that $10,000 fake tooth in there minus $500 from Kind Bar. On top of that, I'm performing like Olympic-level tongue gymnastics, fighting through your hands in my mouth to respond to your questions, and I'm doing it politely. How is it that I got to pay the same rate as shitmouth?
So I've been spending the last few minutes of this rant trying to like really determine the root of what you're saying, and I think I have. I think you're telling me that this is your justification for never tipping anybody.
No, that's the weird part of this is I'm a great tipper. I just don't want to be charged the same amount in certain circumstances as shitty people.
Yeah, but like I could see somebody who was a bad tipper going, because I was such a good experience, I'm not going to tip.
Okay,
it's Uber's fault.
Here's
They don't give me that discount.
I want a shitty person charge. I'll pay what I'm paying already. Fine. Charge shitty people more.
I like that. That's good.
They should have to pay more. They're shitty people, and that should be the motivation to not be shitty, to not suck.
Money?
Don't suck.
That's money should be the motivation to not suck.
It's the only thing that motivates a lot of these people.
That's fair.
You got to use it against them. If somebody comes in to the dentist and is just awful, I don't know, farting on you and charge them more than me, please.
Fart fee?
Please charge them more than me.
You're the new BMW trying to create microtransactions from everything.
Not even a mic.
Did you hear about this?
There to be a penalty for sucking.
Did you see this and hear about this?
And there isn't. What?
BMW is doing a new thing where they are putting the components for heated seats in every single BMW, but they're charging you a monthly rate to have access to heated seats.
Oh yeah, this is every car company now. My Tesla has heated seats in the back. I can pay $250 to activate those bad boys.
You're serious.
Dead ass serious. Been that way this whole time I've owned that
No
car.
fucking way. I thought this was BMW doing a new thing. There's copying Tesla?
Yeah.
Dude, okay.
Also, Tesla has a subscription thing now where you don't have to pay up front to get full self-driving. You can do a subscription monthly.
Oh, that probably would have saved you some money.
I actually don't really know mathematically. The price of my car has gone up like 4 times since I bought it, so I could sell it right now for like $15,000 more than I bought it, which is hysterical. So I have no idea.
Yeah, but you already said you're selling it to me for pennies on the dollar.
I thought it was if I die, you get it for pennies on the dollar.
Deal. Camera recorded.
That was a question, not an affirmative. Certainly not legally binding.
I don't
But
know.
yeah, so BMW definitely, that's not new. But it is
sucks.
very weird.
Like, think about here's how I think
hey,
about
you want
it.
to use the radio? That'll be $2.50.
The way that in my head I think about it is I think about it as, hey, when you're paying extra to have heated seats come installed on your car, that is the work.
And for the product being put in, you're paying for the product, right?
Yes, the fact that you're already putting it in to where I could have heated seats, that is what I'm paying for. The work that goes into it.
Wife's car, you go in, there's an option. She can pay like $4,000 for her car to go from 0 to 60 like 0.5 seconds faster. I'm not joking. You can upgrade your Tesla to go faster than it currently does inside the car. It's an in-app purchase.
What is this, fucking Need for Speed?
It's an in-car purchase, Jared.
Upgrading your fucking car? Oh my God.
And the nicer version of the car you have, and I'm assuming this is probably the case with BMW, the more options like that there are. And then some of them, if you have like one of the nicer cars, the heated seats are built like it's not a thing you have to pay $250 for. But in my broke ass version, you got to pay $250 apparently.
Okay, so this change. What is quote unquote stock nowadays? Do you include the heated seats in your car as stock if you have to pay for them? They're there. They're stock. They're
it's a
there.
really weird area they've waded into here, where it's like
I hate this so fucking much.
So like at some point, are they going to be selling a Tesla or BMW that you can buy it, and then I can be like, you know what? I've decided I want this to be a convertible, and it's like $5,000 to unlock the convertible part of the car.
Oh my God!
You know what I'm saying?
If they start microtransacting the convertibility of your roof,
son of
or
a
the
bitch.
sunroof.
I mean, it's happening already. This is the path we're on. They're going to start hooking up the cars with all this shit already because it's cheaper for them, and then they charge you if you want it.
Now that I think about it, they would only need one production line.
That's the beauty of it. Yeah.
Okay, but
there was always going to be a bad side to this.
Yes, but
Elon transforming the automotive industry to the future. It was needed. Very badly needed. If you get in a brand new Tesla versus like a 2010, state-of-the-art Mercedes, it is a mind-boggling difference what that dude has pushed through in the past 10, 15 years or whatever. And now every other auto industry or every other automaker has like either partially caught up or is in the process of catching up, or in some people's arguments, passing him. Is what it is. Don't care. Don't really have a dog in that fight. Well, I guess I technically do.
You have a Tesla.
In stock. But the point is, I don't actually give a shit what anybody thinks about whether or not he's in front of everybody else still. In my opinion, he probably is. What a head start. Holy shit. But now this is trickling down everywhere. And part of what's trickling down is the in-car purchase, which is one of the more ridiculous things. I mean, if you get down to the granular level and you want to get crazy with it, it could be like 25 cents to roll down your window.
I swear to God, if it comes to that, my 2008 Nissan Sentra SL, the standard of luxury, might be worth more money soon because it doesn't do all that bullshit.
See?
What you see is what you get.
Everything gets to a place where it's like, I wish we were still in the old school. The streaming wars, I'm like, goddamn motherfucker, I've got 50. You know what I mean? All this technology shit, it gets to a certain point where it's like, I prefer the simplicity of the old stuff.
And you know what's the worst thing is? If this was the case on any other piece of hardware that you use on a daily basis, you would go, okay, I'm just going to pay some jackass to jailbreak it, right? Pay some dude $100, he'll go in. The thing is, I think because these have to all be street legal, I guarantee you they're going to make jailbroken cars illegal to drive because it's messing with the
that's already so illegal. In fact, when you purchase one of any of these new vehicles that has like the crazy forward technology on it, you sign a thing that if you fuck with it in any way, shape, or form, if you go in there and try to like jailbreak it, they will come. First of all, they are immediately notified, and they come and take that shit back from you. Not joking. It's kind of scary. It's the other piece of it. Like, there's a camera watching me. When I drive, I'm sitting there in the car. There's a fucking camera.
Wait, do you have
right by my rearview mirror?
Do Teslas have dash cam built into the car?
What's dash cam?
Like a camera that if you get into a car crash, you can go, hey, this was that guy's fault.
Oh yeah, no, 1,000,000,000%. Not only do they have a camera, there's like I think there's 6 cameras around the outside of the car, or something like that.
Sentry mode.
The cameras are what run the whole self-driving thing.
Oh yeah,
it just uses the cameras.
But like if you get into a car crash, you could find that
Sentry
video
mode is
footage.
also what does that. Yeah, in any event, like if somebody comes and breaks into your car, it films it, and you have that footage too.
That's kind of dope.
Yeah, no, there's type pieces of it. It's just like it's always this is the thing to keep an eye on, man. With the technology, when social media came out, with Facebook, we thought it was the greatest thing in the world. We're all going to be connected. Holy shit, look at us. We're really doing it. The human beings. We found a positive use of the internet. Up to that point, there hadn't been one other than watching Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson fuck. And then we had it. And it only took a 10, 20-year period before we burned it all to the ground.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
What would we be doing if we were alive before the internet? I don't think we'd be.
I think about this all the time. I think we've like done it as a set. It's seriously, it's like, it's so wild. Because my whole career, everything I've ever made money doing was online. I've never made a table and sold it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not in goods and services. This is the only thing I've ever known. And it's fascinating to me that not only was there a time, or all of the time, before 30 years ago or whatever, when the internet became a thing, that everyone else operated completely differently. But it's interesting to think about if there will ever be an after this, right?
I hope so.
And it seems at the rate we're going that there certainly will be, probably sooner rather than later, because the internet is so speeding up the decline of humanity.
Yeah.
It's wild. Wanted to end the
I
show
hate
on a
it
positive
here.
note.
I hate it here.
Here's the part of it to end on an actually positive note. You don't have to. You don't.
What are you trying to go Aziz Ansari on us? Got a fucking Motorola Razr?
Yes, eventually. You don't have to. I've stopped reading the news. It's fucking awesome. We talk about this shit all the time. I had a terrible take when Russia invaded Ukraine that we just shouldn't pay attention because it's too stressful, which was, I didn't really realize the scope of what was occurring at the time. It was an awful take. But my point kind of stands. There are levels to that shit. Like, you can stay aware. Carve out time for yourself.
I mean, that war's still going on. I haven't heard shit about it in a couple weeks.
Because you really, at this point, it's not dominating headlines like it was. You have to actually want to go read about it. And I still do, like once a week. I'll go see what the latest is or whatever.
I'm happy.
But that's fucking it.
Fun fact.
Too many people, Jared, myself included in the past, and I'm still guilty of it sometimes. You wake up in the morning.
Feeling like P. Diddy?
You grab your phone, and you start scrolling the news. You're looking at the worst possible information in the world to start your day. And it just, don't do it. You don't have to do it. You don't have to be online all the time. there are ways now to safeguard yourself from that shit. You can set your phone to literally not allow you to use it after X, and there's ways around it, but it's helpful, right? You were on a good path earlier in 2021.
I'm on a much worse path because my entire life is on social media. It's how I'm building my Formula Bone brand, which check it out.
That's why I
Formula
said,
Bone.
of course, follow Formula Bone everywhere, but that's why I've always said, like, the second I'm done with this career, I'm throwing my phone into the wilderness, and nobody's ever going to hear from me again.
I'm still down like 2 hours a day, even then.
I'm down massively.
Granted.
From my height.
Except for you and I we have desktop computers. Which
that part, it's a lie, but my screen time on my phone is down hugely. Very hugely. Bigly. I'm excited about that, but, we're doing what we can. It's hard out here in the age of technology, Jared.
Yeah, and I'm sweating my dick off.
It's hot as balls outside. Happy birthday, Gabriel Xavier, coming up on the 16th. Thank you for the support. Shout out Brittany Griner, who is representing for Nipsey Hussle, the late, great Nipsey Hussle's clothing brand, Marathon, in Russian prison. It's the most gangster thing I've ever seen in my life. Mitchell and Ness. Shout out to Mitchell and Ness. I've been a Mitchell and Ness fan for a lot of years. They make sporting goods, apparel for the Rockets and Astros and such. Not really the Texans. There's like 3 things on there. A lot of Oilers stuff, but they are the most shameless company on earth in terms of the quantity of new products pumped out on a weekly basis. Like, nobody needs Kobe Bryant's high school jersey upside down and backward with bloodstains on the back, but that's the kind of shit they will push out. Like, I'll get an email that's like neon purple Rockets jerseys. I'm just like, this doesn't even, at no point has purple been a part of the color scheme of the franchise. Why is it neon? And who the fuck is buying this?
Okay, but it's lean colored.
Damn it. All right, they probably sell some of those. But that's my point. We just don't need this many. They have so much tight shit, and then they overdo it so hardcore with the designs. It's so shameless, and I realize they were recently bought by Fanatics, and that might, now that I'm
oh, yeah.
Oh, that's what happened. Michael Rubin got a hold of this shit.
My dad's former neighbor.
Okay. No, now I'm putting it together. Yeah, okay. They've gotten way more shameless since they got purchased by Fanatics, and this is why. So, yeah, they're obviously doing volume shooting now, but it's really starting to freak me out a bit. Speaking of being freaked out a bit, the stock market, holy God. Remember Stonks? Remember how much fun that was?
Yeah,
Stocks
Stonks.
only go up. Yeah. Shout out Stonks, which are just now called stocks again. Stonks are dead. Watch full episodes of our show on YouTube, as we mentioned earlier in the show.
Check out my pit stains.
Yeah, check out Jared's pit stains. Comment, Jared, those are beautiful pit stains. YouTube.com, search the Ross Bolen podcast. Full episodes right there. You can watch them all. Look at us wave. We're doing the wave.
If you right now are like, I actually don't know what Jared and Ross look like, then go watch the video to find out.
This is our faces. This is what we look like. Be weird, though. You're not a social media person if you don't know what we look like. And congratulations to you on that.
Yes.
Congratulations. Yeah. Buy RBP merch at bolenmedia.com/shop. You can also get Formula Bone merch on there as well. Obviously, all of our brands available on bolenmedia.com/shop. Follow us on social media. We're on TikTok. 99,000 followers right now as we record this at the Ross Bolen Podcast. Almost to 100K on TikTok. At the Ross Bolen Podcast on Instagram and on Twitter at Ross Bolen Pod. You can follow me at WR Bolen. Follow Jared at Jared Borslow on Twitter and Instagram, and please follow Formula Bone everywhere. If you're an F1 fan and you're not yet supporting Formula Bone F1 show, it is available wherever you listen to RBP, and you are silly as hell. You need to get on that. Be a part of it. Jared's on fire. It's like 160,000 TikTok followers or some craziness.
It is 160,000.
Wild. Formula Bone is already the size of RBP in terms of listenership, if you can put your brain around that. It's very hard for me to wrap my brain around that, much like it is the scope of the universe in that photo.
Yeah,
Jared.
I only have 457 less episodes. 56.
You're on your way, though.
That's true.
You're on your way. Our other shows, by the way, Freeze All Motor Functions covering Westworld Season 4 going on now. Westworld is back, baby, and it is good again, and I'm stoked about that, and we're talking about it every week on Freeze All Motor Functions, usually Monday right after the episode airs on Sunday. Speaking of which, HBO starting up their first Game of Thrones spinoff, House of the Dragon, at the end of August, and we will be covering every episode, just like we did with Game of Thrones, on the former #1 Game of Thrones podcast in the realm, Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, also brought to you by Bolen Media, also available wherever you listen to RBP, Oysters, Clams, and Cockles. And Jared and I will be back Friday on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast. You are missing out on half the episodes each week right now. If you're not on Patreon, you're missing out on half.
So honestly, like, what a loser you are.
Half.
That's embarrassing. You listen to this show,
50%.
and you're not even listening to 50% of them.
Every Friday, we really do all new material, all new episode, no ads in the episode. We would really appreciate it if you would come
right now,
through,
there's
enjoy them with us.
over 100 hours of RBP you've never heard. Funny jokes, all the ha-has, all the lols.
If you've never been on Patreon, so much content. And the second that you sign up, you gain access to our entire backlog so you can catch up. So go today, patreon.com/Ross
Right now,
Bolen podcast.
If you're like, man, I love the days I get to listen to RBP during work because it passes the time. The second you sign up for Patreon, you have so many work days completely covered.
Love it.
Oh my God.
Think about all the hours you can fill with our sweet, sultry voices saying silly and sexual things.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. So go to patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast today. We'll be back there on Friday, and we'll see you here on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you're currently listening next week. Until next time, peace be with you, and also with you.